talk to us about the trial and more, we are joined by reporter Jayed Paulse. Jayed, a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us and a warm welcome to the late edition. First of all, could you perhaps summarize the key evidence that has been presented so far linking the accused to the murders of AKA and Tibz?
Well, a very good evening to you, Simpiwe, and to the viewers back at home. And, well, you know, Simpiwe, it's been a stop-start affair for the past 2 years now. Just last month, the pre-trial conference was supposed to sit, and then it was subsequently postponed to allow for necessary preparations and discussions. That's what we were told by the court between the state and the defense, and particularly given the ongoing extradition appeal of the two Ndimande brothers in Eswatini. So this upcoming pre-trial hearing is really crucial, Simpiwe, for addressing outstanding issues and hopefully setting a definitive trial date. The family members also want it to be ongoing now. They want to see closure, and I have been speaking to AKA's dad, Tony Forbes, who says that he still doesn't believe that the fourth accused, Mzwatembi Gwabeni, was in fact the alleged mastermind. You would know that he was the one that paid that 800,000 to the other suspects. And his bail bid has also been denied twice. The state is adamant that this is due to the fact that he was found with a list of witnesses while incarcerated and that he could intimidate witnesses. So there's a lot that has come out. State saying that they are really trial ready, Simpiwe. They've made it abundantly clear. And the state basically says that their case hinges on cell phone records, CCTV footage, showing the accused following AKA all the way from King Shaka International Airport to the hotel and then to the Wish restaurant where the hit was performed. They are adamant that they are ready to proceed. The defense is still trying to bring all sorts of tactics, and I imagine that we're going to be seeing this tomorrow. It is a pre-trial conference, but one has to wonder whether those outstanding issues have been addressed, because it really has been a stop-start affair.
And the pre-trial conference in June, Jayed, remember that it was adjourned for state defense engagements on undisclosed matters. Now, do we have any indications of what these matters might have entailed?
Well, we were not privy to that as the media, Simpiwe. They just said that these were going to be matters that were going to be discussed in chambers. One has to also wonder if this has to do with the extradition proceedings for the additional other suspects, the Ndimande brothers, who are still in Eswatini and who are still going through the complex process due to the appeals filed by those suspects. The investigation has linked the suspects to the crime through 4 vehicles used in the planning, the spotting and the getaway, some of which were even rented. So that case is ongoing. It still remains ongoing. And I suppose we'll have to see whether that will also join into this particular case. And we've been speaking to our legal expert, Abigail Ngubeni, who says that when the Ndimande brothers come from Eswatini, they still have to go through the entire process of going to the Durban Magistrates Court, and then thereafter they will join the 5 accused with regards to this matter. But tomorrow it remains to be seen what's going to happen. Will it be another adjournment, possibly, or whether the pre-trial conference will actually sit and a definitive trial date will be set. Yes, Simpiwe, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, so basically what I was asking is, what are some of the key, arguments that have been raised, or rather, have there been any clarity on the alleged mastermind or the motive behind the killings as per the current court documents or testimonies?
Well, look, if we look at the affidavits that we have been presented in the Magistrates Court, and now this is the first time we'll be sitting and listening to the proceedings in the High Court. What the state is saying that the fourth accused, Mzwatembi Gwabeni, is in fact the mastermind behind the plot. He was the one that paid the 800,000 rand to the other accused. Amongst them were the spotter, the person that followed AKA from the Wish restaurant all the way out when he was standing outside the restaurant. Then we have the shooter as well, who is said to be Ndimande. And then also we have those that were the gunmen that were standing around the precinct in Florida Road. So they're saying that it was an organized hit, it was orchestrated, it was plotted, it was planned, and it was executed. However, they are also saying that the friend of AKA, Tebello Motsoane, was in fact at the wrong place at the wrong time. He was not intended to be killed on the night night that it was in fact AKA that was supposed to be killed. So it was orchestrated. However, the family of AKA say they are not entirely convinced that the fourth accused, Mzwitemba Gwabeni, is in fact the mastermind. They do believe the mastermind is still out there and they want justice. So this is what the state is saying. I imagine that tomorrow when we get to the meat and the crux of the story and dig deeper into the arguments, we'll get a sense of where and in which direction the state is going. But tomorrow, simply I imagine that they will just finalize all the documentation, whether the state and defense have met. Like I said, it was in chambers with some of the matters that they dealt with, and that will be ventilated in open court, and then a possible trial date will be set thereafter.
All right, Jayed. Tomorrow it is then. We'll see and whether some of these questions will be answered. But thank you so much for joining us. SABC reporter Jayed Paulse has a hand on the pulse of this matter.